Welcome, welcome everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, bienvenidos to the 30 Under 30 celebration. I'm Michele Cantos. I am the managing editor of Hispanic Executive Magazine, which is the parent brand powering NextGen Collective. Both of these platforms are here to amplify Latino voices in corporate America. And tonight, we're specifically here to honor the emerging leaders of corporate America. And that would be the 30 Under 30 NextGen Collective honorees sitting before you. These rising stars are changing the face of the workforce with their emerging expertise, and their expertise spans the fields of technology, healthcare, media, government, venture capital, finance. These folks are also giving back to their community, inspiring their peers, and they deserve all of the recognition that they will be getting tonight. So please give a warm round of applause to our honorees. On behalf of NextGen Collective, I'd like to thank our presenting partner, Goldman Sachs, for the beautiful offices where we are hosted today and for their support in planning this event. We'd also like to thank AARP for joining us and for helping us launch this celebration. Let's give it up for AARP. We're really honored to partner with organizations like Goldman Sachs and AARP, who are so committed to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. And before we kick things off, I'd also like to thank the committee members for the selection committee members. That is Cindy Rivas, Tania Micala, Jennifer Vasquez, Jesus Martinez, Jorge Perez, Soribel Feliz, and my colleague Vianney Lubus. They read through hundreds of nominations to select the folks that are being honored today, and made an excellent selection. So before we kick things off, we will have opening remarks from a very special supporter, Goldman Sachs Chief Diversity Officer Megan Hogan, who will be presenting the first round of honorees. And at the end of the ceremony, please join us on the 43rd floor for a special cocktail, cocktail reception. And with that, Megan, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Great to be here with everybody. Like Michele said, my name is Megan Hogan. I'm the Chief Diversity Officer of Goldman Sachs. And this is my second year hosting this event. Last year, you didn't get to see this bright red up close, so soak it in, people. I was on Zoom last year, and it was so fun. The NextGen Collective group is just a fantastic group to work with. And I'm so proud of everybody in this room, especially the honorees. I've always peaked above the age of any top list, so I've never been on a 30 under 30, a 40 under 40, maybe 50 under 50 eventually. So you should feel really proud of this recognition. You know, as was said, there were many applications that were reviewed, and you were the 30 that made the cut just because of your bright, exemplary work, not just professionally, but personally as well. And so just a little bit about me. I've been at the firm now for 8 years. I just celebrated my 8th anniversary last week. I was an attorney before I came to Goldman Sachs and very focused on the Latino community in particular. My family came here from the Dominican Republic from a fishing village. What? There's a Dominican in the house? I'm usually the only. It's like my favorite thing. That's where bias creeps in. You know, my family grew up in Samana. It's a fishing village at that point. Beautiful if you ever visit DR, huge tourist destination. We need your support, quite frankly. And they worked very hard to migrate here to the United States, to Washington Heights, to Brooklyn, and on other parts of the East Coast. escaping extreme persecution under Rafael Trujillo at the time. And so as a part of my journey as an attorney, I worked a lot on pro bono cases with the New York Immigration Center, with pro bono organizations across legal aid. And every time that we talked about this journey, something that always rung true was, the concept of the immigrant experience, which you're all familiar with, and the vast diversity of this community. And so what's really important about the magazines and NextGen Collective and Hispanic Executive is that they're really showing that this community is not a monolith, making sure that there is variety of the community, being very clear, people like me, Afro-Latinas, the intersectionality of the LGBTQ plus community, the intersectionality of older generations really leading the way, even in things like telecom and media communications as well. And so I really encourage you to make sure that you're reading about, not just being part of the community, but other people across it as well. And so, two things that I wanted to focus on too is the entrepreneurship, in this group as well. The team always jokes, they've heard the story 1,000 times, that the reason my family was able to stick around is because we probably owned 3 to 5 hair shops across Washington Heights doing hair, and then also making money off of being seamstresses, as well. And it's something that I think is like core to the DNA of being Dominican, is knowing how to do hair and knowing how to sew. And quite frankly, was able to make sure that future generations of wealth came through the cycles of poverty when we first got here by being able to support each other through entrepreneurship. And you're all entrepreneurs in your own right. And I would just really think about this moment of time that it's not fleeting, and making sure that when you think about the next generation of talent that's coming through the ranks, people that you work with, people that you manage, is to make sure that you're visible and paying it forward. Often something that my abuela says is, the ancestors are watching. And I really think and reflect on that, not just in my daily experience here at the firm, but outside the 4 walls of Goldman Sachs. So really staying true to yourselves and thinking about the impact that you're going to have on future generations is super important, and you've done so much already. So with that, we're going to get started. I'm going to go through the first half of our honorees, and my colleague and partner in crime, Cindy Lone, is going to hit the next 15. And so honorees, when I call your name, you're going to walk up to the right side of the stage to receive your award, and then exit here on the left. And so if we can first have Andrea Medina, who's the Global Manager of Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging at LinkedIn, come and get your award. Next up, look at these beautiful photos with all the color too. These look amazing. Autumn Rose Vargas, Account Manager and Latinx ERG President at Pinterest. And I see the ladies being super careful on those steps. I promise you, no one's ever fallen here. It's going to be okay. Brenda Badham, the Assistant Attorney General in the Office of the New York State Attorney General. Brian Vasquez, the Finance Leader for U.S. Amazon Pay Group at Amazon. Daisy Prado, Health and Safety Program Manager at the San Francisco Department on the Status of Women. Daniela Gonzalez, Project Manager, Board Excellence at NASDAQ. Eddie Sandoval, CEO and founder of Pinot Blue. Congratulations. Henry Quintana, Expansion Operations Manager at Capsule. My guys look nervous too. It's going to be okay, guys. Jasmine Gonzalez, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Consultant. Congratulations. Jennifer Lee Nieves Alvarez, Partnership Specialist at UNICEF. Congratulations. We talked about bias. It's going to show up in a big way right now. Laura Alvarado, Associate Global Investment Research at Goldman Sachs. Congratulations. Linica Morales Valenzuela, App Director of Global Aviation Regulatory Affairs at Zipline International. Congrats. Liz Nunez, Fundamental Equities at BlackRock. Congrats. Luzeli Frias, Owner, Clinical Social Worker, and Psychotherapist at Energy Counseling. Congratulations. And Max Rivera, Global Business Expansion at Snap Inc. What an amazing and impressive group. Let's give them another round of applause. All right, so that concludes our first round of honorees, but there's still more to come. I want to give the floor to one of today's 30 under 30 honorees, Lyanne Alfaro, who's the program manager at Google and creator of Moneda Moves podcast. Welcome to the floor.
How's everyone doing tonight? Woo! I must say I'm so humbled to be in the presence of all of you because as everybody walked on stage and I heard everybody's titles and names and all the things you do and read a little bit about you, I'm like standing in your power. And so I'm so excited to meet everyone after in the cocktail reception that will follow. But tonight I really wanted to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is my thesis statement for why I do what I do, which is that the stories that we tell really matter. So I'll introduce myself here. My name is Lyanne Alfaro. I'm a journalist, builder, and storyteller. And growing up, I looked around in my communities in my hometown of Chicago, and I saw the hustle. I saw business owners everywhere for me. I saw restaurateurs. I saw owners of panaderias, carnicerias, grocery shop chains, all the way to carpentry businesses, and those owners were people like my father. But when it came to talking about money and business, I also saw us absent from national headlines when I worked in these newsrooms. 7 years ago, it was just an idea to create a solution, but one day I really set my mind to it, and I came to the conclusion that we would have to change this narrative by leading with intention. I chose to write about Latinos and our contributions to the American economy and created a platform, a media platform, to talk all about it called Moneda Moves. Fast forward to today, and it's this kind of work that has enabled me to cover the resilience of our small business owners with leaders in the community like Xiomara Peña. It's enabled me to cover what it's like to raise more than $1 million being an Afro-Latina and CEO of Agua Bonita with Kayla Castañeda. And it's given me the privilege to tell stories of Wall Street powerhouses turned fintech entrepreneurs like Ramona Ortega. So these are all business stories, but this is some of the first times that we're seeing Latinos positioned front and center. It's a position that as leaders in new business creation in this country, we were long ready to assume. But these narratives, they aren't just good for conveying other people's stories. They're a conduit for better understanding and sharing our own journeys. The stories we tell matter, and the ones we choose to tell ourselves are the ones that shape our reality. What's interesting is I don't think we always see the power of the stories in our own lives, not until we take a step back and appreciate life from a vantage point where we can see how far we've come. And I don't think I'm alone here. I mean, I'm in a room of 30 under 30 honorees. In this room, we have leaders from diverse walks of life, industries, and imprints that you'll leave on the world. It's moments like today where I do feel we can pause, reflect, and appreciate the narratives that we're weaving in this room at the very moment. So I encourage you to take a look around you, look at how far you've come, appreciate the view, the peaks, the troughs, and everything in between, and engage in the practice of doing it more often than a under 30 ceremony, because it's something that I'm learning how to do myself. It's not just about where I'm going, but it's also about the richness in where I come from and where we come from. And the stories that we tell matter because it helps us contextualize where we come from. My family arrived in this country with a vision, not a script. I'm privileged to say that both my parents had some college-level education in Mexico. My mom was a Spanish literature teacher for elementary school children, and my dad, well, he was el inquieto, the restless, you know. He was a musician, a teacher, a carpenter, home remodeler, always looking for what's next. Coming from a very poor upbringing, my father was also aware there was potential in the United States, a so-called American dream. We've all heard of this. He arrived with a few coins and a family connection and an opportunity to work in agriculture in the fields in Sacramento. When he decided he wanted something different, he again began searching. Through networking with distant relatives and some sheer luck, he landed a union construction job in Chicago. This union job was the one that enabled him to get a green card, eventually citizenship, and bring my mom to this country with the vision of a more financially stable life and a better one for their children, my brother and I. Though my mom did stop teaching in school, having her close during our formative years was crucial, because it was at home that she became our greatest instructor, teaching me core values I still hold near and dear today, and Spanish as my first language, how to craft narratives in my mother tongue. I say it was a vision, not a script, because the future for us was never a given. But that's how our family began to write their script. The stories we tell matter. They help rewrite narratives that no longer ring true to you. Ask my father today, and he'll tell you, el sueño americano no existe. The American dream doesn't exist. I think I know what he means. Instead of this illustrious dream, for my family, it's been all about nuestra realidad americana, our American reality. The art of making ends meet was a common theme in the come up. When it came to money in our home, my mom was the frugal bookkeeper and my dad was the entrepreneurial brains. In my neighborhood of Chicago, I grew up seeing firsthand how our story wasn't unique in our working Mexican class neighborhood. In our city, race and socioeconomic status correlated directly with the quality of opportunities you received. Translation, the system wasn't built to work for people like us. But my parents took an alternate route with resources they did have in pursuit of our vision. Today, my parents, I'm proud to call them immigrants, homeowners, business owners, Mexicans who are deeply proud of their culture. And as I looked around my neighborhood of Hermosa in Chicago, I knew we were not alone. The stories we tell matter. They help us manifest the blueprint that doesn't exist. I don't think my dad realized the seed he planted in me when he chose to name me after a journalist in my hometown. It's true. Look her up. Her name is Lyanne Melendez. She's Boricua descent, and she used to be a Chicago reporter back in the day. And my dad made the point to spell our names in the exact same way. I met Lyanne Melendez in person 4 years ago after a series of friendly exchanges and Twitter DMs in her new home of San Francisco. She's an award-winning reporter, carries herself with such grace, and she's really good at her craft. I don't get starstruck, but when I met Lyanne Melendez, I totally did. I remember looking her up online as a kid and being in awe of someone that looked remotely like me, delivering stories, seeking the truth, reporting for the masses. I became obsessed with the profession in my early teens and pursued it relentlessly through my college and post-grad days in New York City, Because if you're going to find out if your reporting chops are any good, you might as well try it in the #1 market in the country. My family didn't have a history in media, reporting, or the like, but I decided I was going to be a journalist. And it's only something I told myself every day for 10 years while I researched, interviewed, wrote, rinse and repeat, until one day it finally actually felt true. I was at Business Insider, CNBC, NASDAQ, reported on by Yahoo Finance. I think my parents, though, finally recognized what I even do just a couple weeks ago when they saw me on National Telemundo. It was at this VC conference, Latitude. My lower third flashed across the screen, Lyanne Alfaro, creator of Moneda moves. The cherry on top was that I was placed in sequence following an interview with our famed Cuban-American singer, Gloria Estefan. So you can bet that feature made the rounds in our extended family's WhatsApp group. The stories we tell matter. They shape the world around us. When I started reporting in New York 7 years ago and launched Moneda Moves, the conversation around Latinos mainly positioned our cohort as consumers, and often in context of poverty and immigration. Both important issues, but when it came to our diverse group, I saw so much more. I saw producers, entrepreneurs, culture shifters. Today, we are more vocal than ever about the racial wealth gap, the lack of investment in Latino entrepreneurs, and addressing our economic contributions of the Latino cohort. And I'm pleased to say that I'm seeing us speak more about solutions as well. We're on our way to changing the stories that are told about our group, our very diverse group, in a big way. And you may notice a trend here. The stories we tell matter. They have power to help us think expansively. Today, we're here to celebrate our accomplishments, all the while being under 30. And though that's an incredible feat, I know we have so much more ground to cover. We're just getting started, mi gente. One of my favorite journalistic interviews I've done to date is with Luis Van An. He's a Guatemalan immigrant and founder of a language learning app called Duolingo. At the time, he was a recent recipient of the MacArthur Fellowship, which in this country is known as the Genius Award. He had also sold 2 companies to Google. What an incredible vantage point that must have been for him. But he was far from done from fulfilling his vision. His goal at the time was to equalize access to education, especially learning new languages, and it had everything to do with where he came from. In 2016, he told me, at some point, the university was kicking our project out because it had too many users. And they just said, you can't be in the university. You have to do something about it, he told me. So I had to turn it into a company. And that's exactly what he did. Today, Duolingo has more than 500 million registered users. His story is an excellent reminder to run on your own timeline, fulfill your own visions, even if you don't know the full script yet. So today that we celebrate you, NextGen honorees, I want to encourage you to run your own timeline, to fulfill your vision in the way that you know best, and to remind you that the stories that we tell truly do matter. This is just the beginning, and here's to 30 more. Thank you, everyone. We have so many more speakers to hear from, but right now I want to introduce Goldman Sachs SVP and Head of Latinx and Hispanic Talent Engagement and DEI Strategy, Cindy Lone.
Thank you, Lyanne, for those inspiring words. The stories we tell do indeed matter. And with that, I want to just take a minute to introduce myself and to tell you my story. As a first-generation Latina with roots in Guatemala in Central America, I've had the privilege to grow and develop my professional career here at Goldman Sachs. And it's really events like these that have helped us inspire to network, to help others, to find mentors, and to really build community. So this is why I'm extra excited today to be in this room with all of you amazing leaders here in the room and also beyond. Thank you all for showing up today and every day for yourselves, your peers, and also for your community. Now, it's with my great pleasure to present the awards to the second round of the 30 Under 30 honorees. So when I call your name, please join me on the stage to receive your award. And as a reminder, if you could walk up in front of the podium, kind of as you walk across. All right, here we go. Number 1, Myra Luna, Human Resource Representative at PepsiCo. Nicolas Norena, founder and CEO of The Succulent Bite. Raquel Basoco, Director of Digital Communities Advancement and Growth at Fidelity and Web3 Community Manager at 1111 Media. Santiago Villegas, CEO and co-founder of 1903 Public Relations. Silvia Jaramillo Regalado, data analyst at Synchrony Financial and executive director of the Organización Juventud Ecuatoriana. Stephanie Monge, project coordinator for the state of Colorado and model of Villamina Models. Congrats. Michael Vasquez, Vice President, Public Affairs, Market Manager at Citizens.
That's my new title. Just got a new job.
Oh, congrats, congrats. There you go, new title. Lyanne Alfaro, Program Manager at Google and creator of Moneda Moves. Hugo Rojo, Director of Communications at CBS News. In addition, I'll also be reading the names of those who are unable to attend today. First up, Magdalena Madrigal, co-founder and community engagement lead at Web3 Familia. Antonio Flores, cryptocurrency fellow at the Global Digital Asset and Cryptocurrency Association. Angelica Cesar, policy advocate and community organizer. Arnold Morales, deputy lead engineer at Boeing. Darian Rosa, senior manager of series at 20th Television, a Walt Disney company. Leandro Bedoya, venture capitalist at M25. Congratulations to this amazing group of rising professionals. I know you will all go on to do great things, and I'm so excited to see what's next for all of you. So with that, let's please join in and a round of applause for this impressive group of leaders.